Okay, section 5.4, page 7, option 2, another way to solve this problem. Then option 1, which is posted as well. So here we go. We need to find k so that the integral from a to x of f of t dt plus k, so that's what we're looking to find, is equal to the integral from b to x of f of t dt. For f of x is sine x, a is 0, b is 2. So first thing, let's go ahead and trade out this a with a 0 and the b with a 2 and this f function with sine x. So we're looking at this, the integral from 0 to x of sine t dt plus k is the integral from 2 to x of sine t dt. Now be very careful here. Don't just go through and replace out the t with this x. We're not doing a derivative of an integral. You are just evaluating an integral. So we could right now just go ahead and evaluate this integral using our second fundamental theorem. So the antiderivative of a sine is negative cosine. So we have negative cosine t evaluated from 0 to x plus k is, and then over here, same thing, evaluate this integral. So that's the antiderivative of sine t is negative cosine t evaluated from 2 to x. And then subbing in here, so we'll have negative cosine x minus negative cosine of 0 plus k is negative cosine x minus cosine 2. All right, this minus the negative, that becomes plus a positive. Oh, look at this. Negative cosine x here and negative cosine x on the other side of the equal sign. Those will subtract out. And we're left with cosine 0, which is 1, plus k is equal to negative cosine 2. So that gives us that k is negative 1 minus cosine 2. Oops. See, I knew I had a problem with my answer here, and so I was pausing because I couldn't find my answer or find my mistake. But I just went back and I found it. Did you find it? Right here, when I substituted in the 2, this should have been negative cosine x minus a negative cosine 2, which makes this plus cosine 2. So that's positive, and we have negative 1 plus cosine 2. That's the correct answer. And when you zap this in your calculator, you will get that k is negative 1.416. Okay, if we check this, you can just merely choose an answer. Oops, choose a number for x. Any number you want. How about 26? 26, because I have these numbers calculated already. So, and it just makes it a little bit easier. So then this becomes then the integral from 0 to x, which is now 26, of sine t dt plus k, negative 1.416, equals the integral from 2 to 26 of sine t dt. And go ahead and zap that in your calculator. Zap this one in your calculator. And see if we come up with something equivalent. And you zap this in your calculator, 0.353. You might want to confirm my numbers to make sure I'm good. And this one over here, negative 1.063, and we do get negative 1.063 is equal to negative 1.063. Now keep in mind, these are not exact answers. These are some big, long, hairy decimals here. And if you use those big, long, hairy decimals, then everything should match exactly. If you don't use the entire decimal, then you're rounding off in the middle, then these two values here will just be very close to each other as opposed to exactly equal. Thanks for your patience on my error earlier.